those top 1% men. Drive around, the Ferraris, Bugattis, McLarens, all the sports cars. Always living a life that you wish you had. Yet you just complain about how, I wish I was lucky. I wish I was, I just won the lottery and I could do this, I could do that. Only if you were able to become as lucky as them, I'm here to tell you. Number one, those millionaires aren't millionaires because of luck. It's because of their hard work. And you can become just like them. And you can build wealth that can not only buy you a supercar, but wealth that will last generations. However, the hard truth about this is, though, the advice I'm going to give here, 90% follow it because they don't care, really. They're not, as how do I say, driven to do so, to actually succeed. But to the 10% want to succeed and want to become elite, have wealth, have fame, drive around those sports cars, live a materialistic life. Let me show you what you have to do, the daily concepts you have to begin. Firstly, you are a multi-millionaire, so stop trying to act like one. So many people, when they first start their self-improvement journey, immediately try to overload themselves. For example, they will, go to the gym for 3 hours, try to meditate for an hour, fail probably, and just do all this other stuff, like, try to immediately go to fap, and if they fit it with, which is good and all, I'm saying this is so good, but it's too much, because you're starting at here, trying to be at the level of here, and you just don't have what it takes when you're first starting initially. So, however, let's say instead of just going up here, you did down here, or right here, maybe a little above. This is your comfortability. Let's say you worked here, above your out of your comfort zone. And you did this for 7 days a week. The guy goes up here, but does it maybe 3 or 4. In the long run, you will be doing more because you have consistency, and that is key to any success you want, whether it be financial, with women, self-improvement in general, in other areas, academic as well. You need to make sure you are consistent with it. Like, if you're to study, let's use academics, make sure you study for a minimum 15 minutes a day. You don't go for the 45-minute hour, because the guys can do that happen. And when they started, I can bet you, I bet good money. I made sure they were doing little bits. And they started back then, and now, guess what? They can study for now because they incrementally increase progressive overload, that term you all use in the gym. You pump an iron. They can be used in other areas as well. Meditation is that, for example. Instead of trying to meditate for an hour, maybe 3 minutes for a week. Next week do 5, 6, and then go for 10, 15, 20. Goes on. And maybe after 6 months to a year, you're meditating for an hour, Now, one of the main things I hear about this, obviously, is that you don't have motivation to do so. That you can't stay disciplined like you wanna, even if it's just this much. It takes too much out of you. And what I have to say is, when you're going up here, I get that. Because when you're going up here, you're destroying your body, whatever. This is possible to do daily. And how do you do it? Not through motivation, but through discipline. And let me show you how to get discipline. Because motivation doesn't exist. Reality is just an excuse. And to make frank, you're just a little bitch. So, I could, this part of the video, I could, say like, what you do now is this exact step 5 times a day. Take some pill, and I sell a description, and boom, you were disciplined. But in reality, it's not gonna work like that. I can't sell you anything or do anything to help you be disciplined. What I can tell you, however, I can't sell you anything. I can't give you anything. I can't make it easy. However, I can tell you how to. And the first step to building discipline is to make a giant. To become disciplined, you have to first make that first step. Let me explain. That when I weighed a lot more when I was a big man. I love the Oreos, and I would eat like 10 a day. And I know it's a lot, but let me tell you, I'm American, so it makes sense. But anyway, and my friend, let's call him Joe, would always give me, an Oreo because he knew I loved them. And what I did is eventually I implemented a policy. Every time he asked me, I said no. I still Oreos everywhere else, but I didn't in that one little category. And so I started eating around 9 per day. I'm using these numbers, that's just random numbers. And because of this progress, I was still gaining weight, but I was eating less. And so I used this polymer. So every time he asked me, I thought to myself, okay, I've said no before. Let's do more time. And I used the mentality of, I've already said no once. Let's just keep going, using momentum to push me forward. In other areas of my life, I would, let's say, for example, after dinner, I would eat like Oreos. I would say, okay, instead of 3, I'm gonna have 1. And I would take a giant leap forward, hard, sitting there like, but eventually, boom. I would only eat 1. After every time I want myself to, I tell it over and over. Just, I've done this before. It doesn't matter. Let's keep going. And eventually, so that would cut me down to 5 Oreos. And then you do that other places. And again, however, this does not only just apply to food and Oreos, but the gym, meditation, no-fap, all these things. Now, one big issue I encounter is failure. And all failure means is that you're going on the right path. So, let's go back to our Oreo example. So let's say one day I eat like 15, I binge eat, whatever. So what you need to do is you need to make one of two concepts in your head, 1 or 2 fundamental ideas go off in your head. First, because you failed, that means you're on the right track, because nothing worth it is easy. Nothing good in this life you can just grab. Sure, you can grab a piece of cake, but it ain't good for you. You can grab an Oreo, but it ain't good for you. And what I'm trying to say here, anything worthwhile, you have to work for it. If you do not work for it, then it was most likely not worthwhile. And so you can realize, okay, I'm on the right track because I've done this. Because I'm failing, I'm on the right track. This part is that improvement. You can move on from this. So instead of sitting there in your own self-wallow, being like, oh, me. Oh, I failed. Let me eat a couple more Oreos because I've already failed. No. What you do is you take the knowledge of how you failed. So why you failed, like ownership of that, seeing why you failed and where you failed, and improving on it. Okay, I failed here. Let's see why. Oh, because I left them on the counter. Next time, I'll put them under the counter, hide them, and so you don't walk in the kitchen. You don't just see them and immediately run from. And this works, like I said previously, this works with everything. If you fail on doing something, if your discipline fails, figure out why and improve and become a better man. And when you do this, your habits become stronger and more resilient, and your discipline does as well. And when you have good habits, good discipline, those 2 things, you are bound for success. All you have to do is add on the other layers of like financial and physical body. If you like this form of content, please consider subscribing. Peace.